Okay, model for my camera. Model for the camera. There we go. There we go. Work the camera. Catwalk. Uh-oh. Turn it out. Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? Well, it's just been released. According to LA Times, the Canelo versus pay-per-view numbers are in, and the numbers are reported to be less than 600. Close to 600,000, but less than 600,000. Now, there's some good news and there's some bad news about these pay-per-view numbers. Let's start with the good news. The good news is Canelo can say he did way better pay-per-view numbers than Gennady Golovkin. Matter of fact, he did 3 times or more better numbers than Gennady Golovkin against David Lemieux. That is the good news. He can also say that his pay-per-views are pretty healthy compared to the majority of people that will put on a pay-per-view this year. That's pretty good. Now, the bad news is Canelo's promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, he projected the numbers to be 2 million, right? 2 million pay-per-view buys is what Oscar De La Hoya expected to get. Now, the other bad news is this was supposed to be a big money fight. This was supposed to be all about money. When you would ask certain people, why do you think Canelo is fighting against Amir Khan? The first thing they would say, oh, this is just a money fight. But the problem is, how do you have a money fight that doesn't generate serious money? Because fans and boxers, they were admitting that this fight, it wasn't significant. This fight was just supposed to be about money. When you think of a money fight, you're thinking of at least 1.5 million pay-per-view buys. You're thinking of 1.5 to 3 million. Once again, Oscar De La Hoya projected this fight would do 2 million, and the fight didn't even do 600,000. Okay? So that is the bad news. You know, once again, like I told you guys in my last video, Canelo is on a boxing treadmill. He's running real fast, but he ain't going nowhere. This fight did nothing for Canelo Alvarez, and it didn't meet expectations financially for Golden Boy Promotions or HBO. You know, I think HBO, Golden Boy Promotions, and even Golovkin's promoter, Tom Loeffler, I think these guys, they all have the blueprint wrong. A lot of these guys, they were really looking at Floyd Mayweather, and they were basically saying, if this guy who has so many haters, has so many people that dislike him, if he could become the biggest star, the face of boxing, imagine a guy that everyone in the sport likes, nobody hates. Imagine this guy. If that guy over there who has all of these detractors, if he can, you know, generate these big ass pay-per-view buys and these big ass gates, etc., just imagine what a redhead with freckles, a guy that doesn't look like a typical Mexican. Imagine what type of numbers he can generate. Imagine what type of numbers a guy that looks like Gennady Golovkin can generate. Remember, now, I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but I told you guys on previous videos, Abel Sanchez, he told me straight to my face, and I didn't even ask him about this. We were just conversating. This is when I was out in Big Bear with Abel Sanchez. And he said to me, he said, Dante, he said, you know why I chose Gennady Golovkin? You know why I decided to work with Gennady Golovkin? He said, because a lot of people, when Golovkin first came to the States, a lot of people weren't jumping to work with Golovkin. They just thought he was just another typical undefeated European fighter. You know, a lot of people didn't expect anything special out of him. You know what he said? He said, you know why I picked him, Dante? I decided to work with him because he was white. He said, I knew having a white fighter, it was going to generate a serious buzz in the sport of boxing. Now, to a certain extent, Abel Sanchez is right. When it comes to the diehard fans, he's absolutely right. So a lot of people thought, just like Abel Sanchez, you get yourself a white champion, right? And you're looking at it like, if this black guy, Floyd Mayweather, can be the biggest star in boxing, just imagine what a white guy could do, right? A white guy with power, knocking opponents out. Just imagine what he can do. And what Abel Sanchez and many other fans found out is, just because you may have the complexion for the protection, it doesn't guarantee you're going to be a superstar in boxing. You see, the difference from Floyd Mayweather and a Canelo Alvarez or a Gennady Golovkin is Floyd Mayweather was actually beating pound for pound champions before he even became a star. Okay? Before Floyd Mayweather fought Oscar De La Hoya, he had to fight the undefeated Diego Corrales. And what a lot of people don't understand or know is Diego Corrales at the time was number 5. He was number 5, pound for pound, the best fighter in the world. In fact, they have Floyd Mayweather rated below Diego Corrales. I remember like it was yesterday. Floyd was rated number 7 and Diego Corrales was rated number 5, right? So for Floyd Mayweather to beat an undefeated pound for pound top 5 champion, that is equivalent to Floyd Mayweather having to beat a Roman Gonzalez, Gennady Golovkin, Andre Ward, Guillermo Rigondeaux. I'm mentioning fighters on that top 10 pound for pound list. That is equivalent to what Floyd Mayweather had to do when it came to beating Diego Corrales. Okay? So this is what these promoters are failing to understand. They keep thinking all you have to do is get a guy who looks the part, right? But they are lacking substance. Because with all of the looks, with all of the knockouts, they are missing the substance. And the substance is beating very good opponents. Undefeated fighters that are pound for pound, top 10, the best in the world, right? Beating champions, etc., etc., etc. You can't just go out there like Canelo just did, fighting a guy 2 weight classes below you. Forget being top 10 best in the world. Amir Khan is not even top 30 pound for pound the best in the world. So Canelo Alvarez, he chooses a fighter 2 divisions below his weight that isn't even the best in his own division and is known for having chin issues. Okay? Someone posted a comment on one of my videos recently, and he was saying stuff like, Amir Khan, he had a suspect chin at the welterweight division. He wobbles every single time he gets touched. This is what the guy in the comment section was saying. And what's funny is, this guy was trying to say this. This was supposed to be some kind of way for him to actually defend Canelo. But all he did was make the Canelo win even worse. Because once again, that's the first question that comes to your mind. If this guy, Khan, had such a weak chin at the welterweight division, why is a middleweight fighting him? right? So yeah, man, I feel these promoters, they got the game all wrong. They got the game all wrong. The only way you're going to make a star out of these fighters is if you put them in there with tough competition. Floyd Mayweather's road was harder than any other fighter. At least for him to take that road and remain undefeated, his road was more difficult than any other fighter. All right? If Canelo wants to be a real star, if Gennady Golovkin wants to be a real star, they are both going to have to step up in competition. We know that Golovkin wants the Canelo fight, and that's great. We know that Canelo is not going to fight Golovkin next. So for Canelo's sake, if he's not going to fight Golovkin next and he really wants to be a star, not only a star, but he really wants to be taken seriously. Because you notice when people talk about pound for pound, no one ever mentions Canelo's name. You guys notice that? That's because Canelo is not a pound for pound star. He has to beat someone on that pound for pound list, or not even on the list, but just beat the best fighters in his division for him to be looked at as pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world. And Canelo could start with fighting the guys in his division at 154. I'm telling you guys right now, if Canelo were to fight the Charlo brothers or Demetrius Andrade or even a rematch with Edeslani Lara, the pay-per-view numbers would be huge. They would be huge. I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to be over, way over 1 million, but I'm saying it would do very good numbers. It would do better numbers than 580,000 or whatever the numbers are right now. What you guys have to understand is this is unfortunate, but this is just the nature of the beast. This is boxing. And the truth of the matter is, boxing is a racially driven sport. This is the reason why Floyd Mayweather was such a big star. Because people that hate you, they are willing to pay to watch you lose before a fan that actually loves you. Okay? That man who hates your guts, he has to be there. When he sees you laying on the ground, out for the count, like Amir Khan was this weekend. He wants to be there when your hand doesn't get raised. He wants to see that expression on your face when you lose for the first time, right? This is the reason why Floyd Mayweather was such a big star. This is the reason why Muhammad Ali was such a big star. People sat there and they waited for these fighters' downfalls. But for Floyd Mayweather, it never came. Just like Don King said when he promoted Holmes versus Cooney. He said, race sells. Just that simple. Race sells. And quite frankly, I remember Bob Arum as well. I remember when Oscar De La Hoya was first coming up and he was the pretty boy. This was before Oscar De La Hoya would come in the ring playing ranchero music. This was the time when he would come in the ring playing techno music, right? And he had all the girls loving him. And I remember he actually had a lot of guys that were hating on him because the girls loved him so much. And I remember Bob Arum, he said something that now looking back in hindsight, it made so much sense. He said, I don't worry about the people, the guys hating him, because soon as Oscar De La Hoya starts to fight black and white fighters, those same fans are going to all come together and start to root for Oscar De La Hoya. And that is exactly what happened. All of those fans united to go up against what they looked at as a bigger threat, which is someone who wasn't Latino, a black fighter or a white fighter. This is why race sells, and this is why boxing is a racially driven sport. This is the reason why a Canelo versus Demetrius Andrade, or the Charlo brothers, or Golovkin versus Andre Ward would be the biggest fights that can be made, because so many fans would come out to root against the black fighter when it comes to Canelo fans and Golovkin fans. Canelo and Golovkin fans feel there's more of an urgency for their fighter to win when it's against a black fighter. Just look up the stats. Now, we all know that Canelo versus Golovkin is the biggest fight to be made, but that fight ain't gonna happen. So that's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
Okay. Hi. No, I got.
When you do it. When you do it.
Hi. You're watching Dante's Boxing Nation. No.
That was good. That was close. Yeah. Close.
Keep going. Try it.
Yeah. But you have an accent, that's fine. But it's Dante with an A. Dante's
Boxing Nation. Dante.
Yeah.
It's like she's gonna do.
See, let me see.
Right, Dante.
Let me see you say it. Can you say it?
Okay.
All right.
Hi. You're watching Dante's Boxing Nation. Yeah.